Hey guys, it's Dr. Lisa Goodman at Washington Park Chiropractic in Denver, Colorado. I often have parents and kids ask me what they can do to improve their flexibility. Oftentimes we think of kids as being too flexible, but there are a lot of cases where kids need to improve their flexibility. So Bailey and I are going to show you 8 movements that we can use, maybe in like a 10-minute period of time, shorter if you have to go through and help your kids improve their flexibility, but also help with a little relaxation and a little bit of mindset. Okay, so the first thing Bailey's going to show you is how to get centered with some nice belly breaths. So go ahead and place your hands on your tummy and breathe into your belly. A lot of times we breathe into our shoulders, where we're kind of raising our shoulders to our ears, and we really want to feel our breath coming into our belly so we can actually almost feel our stomachs pushing into our hands. And once you feel centered, we're going to move into some shoulder rolls. So these are just going to loosen up our thoracic spine, loosen up our rib cage. We can do these 10 or 15 times reverse and 10 or 15 times forward. And see how she's getting her elbows into it. Kind of open those up, whatever feels good to you. Next thing that we like to do with our kid stretching is cat-cow pose. So the other thing is, parents, this is awesome for you guys and families to all take part in together. So with the cat-cow, she's going to arch her back up and hang her head down, and then she's going to arch her belly down toward the floor and lift her head up. I think with the cat-cow pose, the slower you go, the better. Really feel that into each vertebrae and really let your belly sink into the floor. After this, you can make an easy transition into a child's pose. So just widen your knees out a little bit, sink your belly in between your legs, reach out in front of you. And a fun little variation on this is to move to one side. She already knew what I was going to say. I love that. And hold that pose. These guys, child's pose and opening up the side bodies in child's pose can be a good 20 to 30 second stretch. So these are just nice restorative stretches to do in the morning or before bed. Next thing we're going to do is pop slowly into a downward facing dog. And this can look different for everybody, especially our inflexible kiddos. So we can walk that out, bending our knees a little bit. Sorry, just bending our knee, walk it with our feet, bending our knees a little bit, and then straightening one at a time. So just kind of getting into that pose and feeling how that feels for you. So the downward dog is going to nicely transition into a cobra or a sphinx pose. This also will look a little different for everybody, because of different amounts of flexibility and any sort of limitations. So this is kind of the lowest version, and you can push up as high as you like. Try to keep your pelvis, your hip bones on the floor when doing this sphinx or cobra pose. And doing that up and down can also be a variation. So you can either hold that for 30 seconds or you can kind of pulse that up and down for 5 to 10 seconds. The last 2 that we're going to do, one is our yoga squat. So we're going to slowly find ourselves in a pretty nice wide squat. Our feet kind of right underneath our shoulders, toes pointed out just a little bit. So if we don't have a lot of flexibility, this is going to be awesome to develop more. If you have a lot of flexibility, one thing I like to do with this to help strengthen is to find the deepest part of that squat and then just lift out of it about a ½ an inch. So now we've turned a flexibility movement into a strength movement. And our last thing that's super fun to do, which we all love, aside from Shavasana, is a mountain pose. So we're just going to stand up and either reach overhead and get a nice big stretch or hold our hands right together in the center. So this is what I like for our kids, quick kids yoga that we can do as a family, 10 minutes a day before school.